All right, welcome to another live broadcast with me, Gina Spatero, on my channel Meditate with Gina. I am talking about stress tonight only because this is probably a stressful time for a lot of people that I know personally, job related, relationship related, and other situations that have arisen that I've kind of taken note of and wanted to do this topic because, I mean, let's face it, at one point in time of our lives, we've all faced stress, whether it's extreme bouts of stress or low bouts of stress. Stress is stress, and it affects us in so many different ways that I want to kind of tap into that with you for a little bit here. But I do want to pull up this. It's my Patreon page, and pretty soon I am going to be opening this up to an exclusive group of members who are serious about kind of changing a certain part of their life, getting rid of that victim mentality, just doing some work on their spiritual level, their mental level, emotional level, and seeing results which they have been seeking. And I always say, whatever you are seeking, it is also seeking you. And you just have to find the avenues in which will help guide you into the right places. So let's start this. I do just want to notify some more people that I am going live so they can join us if they wish. Um, all right. So, first thing is first. Stress affects us in so many different ways, and sometimes we don't listen to our body when it is speaking to us, and when it is telling us these cues that stress has kind of taken over our mind, body, and spirit. So your internal health is definitely compromised, and in ways that you probably don't even recognize, or doctors possibly don't know how to prescribe. And some things that you really need to look out for. A lot of the times, you will have digestive issues. And that comes in many forms, irritable bowel. And on the opposite end of the spectrum as well, you notice that you constantly have flutters in your stomach, that nauseous feeling. You have to listen to these cues because if you can't pinpoint it medically, there's probably something going on in your life that you're not targeting or fixing or recognizing. And a lot of those issues have to do with traumatic events that you're dealing with, stressors in your life, job, work, family, relationship. A lot of those things you have to keep in mind that might be affecting your internal and external health. A lot of the times people get muscle tension, and especially in areas of like your shoulders, your traps, your lower back, and a lot of the times it won't go away with just a simple massage. And it really is because you are holding on to that tension, and by not releasing that tension in your body, you manifest it further into a chronic pain. So it's understanding the pains that aren't caused by physical harm. You have to really understand what else could be a contributing factor. Headaches, that's a no-brainer. When we overthink or overstimulate our mind, sometimes it just goes on its own frenzy, and then we stimulate it with some medication or whatnot. But really and truly, once again, you have to understand what it is that is showing up in your life for you. Heart palpitations and lowered immune system. Lowered immune system is so huge. There's so many times that I have clients come to me and say, my doctor just can't figure this out. I've had this issue for months, possibly even a year. I've seen someone have an issue for a year. And once they start telling me their story, it's like, okay, so a lot of things are connecting, the dots start to connect. And a lot of the times, if you're not dealing with what it is you are dealing with on an external level, which is all of the key factors that I did just mentioned, family, friends, work, relationship, a lot of those issues will just create more issues within yourself, and if you don't understand it, it will just subside into an unknown diagnosis. And I see this all the time. Next is external health issues when stress is a factor. So, skin issues, even for myself. I have, what they call eczema. And for the life of me, I try and eat my healthiest. I exercise, do all those things. And it's like, why does this still show up? Well, I understand its cause at some point, but I also know that its trigger is stress, and it shows up more when I am under a little bit more stress than other times. Extreme hair loss, especially in females. If you notice that you're losing large amounts of hair at certain points of time, which it isn't a normal occurrence for you, evaluate what's going on. You feel more irritable, and last, which is huge, weight changes. And some people binge, and some people reduce the amount of intake that they are allowing, and this is just a coping mechanism. It's not really dealing with the issues at hand. However, it is affecting you externally. And your patience has lowered. If you notice that you are quick to react, and you are not able to have deductive reasoning for a lot of situations, you have to really take yourself out of the equation and really see the engagement within the interaction you are having. Is it really at the point where you can't deductively think about it and have a decent conversation without being so reactive? Because it's telling you that your stressor levels are at its wit's end and you have no patience for anything, because most likely your mind is racing and only thinking about the things that you are preoccupied about. Next, most of the time, stress is created due to situations that are out of your control. So, a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh, this is happening in my life. And, they're completely stressed out about it. And I get it. I'm not judging, nor am I telling you that you don't have a right to be stressed. But most of the time, if you really think about the stressful situations that we are in, they have already occurred or they haven't happened yet. So, what we are stressing out about is something that is out of our control. And what we have to really bring back and reel back is and understand, what is it that I am in control of? And it completely is a conscious effort. It really, really is. And once you get around what it is that you are in control of, then you start to focus on what you can handle, what you can do, and what you can change. How do we focus on what is in our control? Well, I think you have to evaluate the severity first and foremost, because if the severity is minimal and you're continuing to stress out about it, then you have to understand the need for you to always be in control of things. Because, someone told me, because I was stressing out about something, and they were like, Gina, you could literally walk outside your house tomorrow and a traumatic event could happen, and that's out of your control. But what you are in control of is right now, the situation at hand, your next steps. Those are the things that you are in control of. But letting your mind run wild on, possible events that haven't even happened, this is you manifesting something that will continue to manifest until you understand the conscious mindset that you are leading with. And sometimes it can be very toxic to yourself, and most likely it will be. So, for example, I'm just going to give you some examples of, things that you are in control of and things that you are not in control of. So, for example, if you are told that you have to deliver a presentation, of course, it's going to manifest some stressful inhibitors within inside of you. But you have to understand what it is you are in control of. And what you are in control of is the preparation ahead of time. So you can't control the outcome of it, but you can control what you can do leading up to it. And that is being your best, doing your best, putting your mindset forward, not worrying about what is going to happen, but what you can control in the meantime. And I think that's, you can relate this to any situation in your life, you know? Yes, A, B, and C and D can happen, but in this moment, I need to harness what it is that I can actually control and physically be accountable for. Another example is, and this is huge, and I'm not saying or discounting men in any way, but my clients are female based, and a lot of their concerns and stressors are entering new relationships and getting hurt. I can have the same outlook on relationships as well, but you have to understand you can't control the outcome. You can control your reactions, you control your situation yourself, you can control your behaviors within the relationship, but you have to understand that you can't control the outcomes because your behaviors and your choices is evident of the outcomes that you want. So if you have positive behaviors, if you have positive choices within your relationship, then that's the only thing you can control. And if by chance the outcome in your relationship happens to be negative on the other end, well, then that's the choice you need to make moving forward. It's not out of your control to make the right choice for yourself. You are in control of that. But worrying about what will happen is just going to lead to more stress and manifestation within your mind. Um, not so another big issue for people is not having enough money in your bank account. Well, of course, it's going to stress you out because money is a lot of stressors for a lot of people. But what you are and able to be in control of, and people need to understand this, just like in any situation, is being resourceful, creative, finding other streams of income to help alleviate the stress. It's not going to help you any if you sit on the couch and just watch the news or, it's great that you can be influenced by, influencers online, but it's actually putting it into action and manifesting and wanting and doing the work in order to be and relieve some of that stress that is causing a lot of your external and internal issues. So there is this guru, his name is Sad Guru, and he's pretty enlightened with manifesting positivity in people's lives. And not only that, but putting in perspective of the control that everybody has in their life. And he says that once negative emotions are part of your system, somehow you find a reason to lend expression to negativity. Negativity breeds negativity. Stress will breed more stress. That's just the law of attraction. It it really truthfully is what it is. If you have negative thoughts, of course, you're going to go down that rabbit hole a little bit further, and you most likely will have more negative thoughts. However, if you turn that perspective into something such as, I understand why these negative thoughts are occurring, but are they real? Are they thoughts or is it a reality? And most likely, they are just thoughts. And you have to retrain that part of your mind where it's just when they do show up, you just have to retrain that part of your mind that says, what I am thinking, what I am creating right now is just a thought. It is not reality. And it's a game changer and it's a conscious effort to repeat that notion over and over and over. Next, he says, the necessary work has not been done to release the stress. In order to release the stress, you have to do the work. Just like anything else, just like getting a job in a certain profession, you have to do the work to do that. Just like driving a car, you have to do certain tests in order to achieve that goal. Well, in order to relieve the stress from your life, you have to do the necessary work in order to relieve it, or else it just will feed and manifest even further. And it's understanding that stress. If you have a dysfunctional relationship, understand why it's dysfunctional. Don't just blame it, don't just be it. Understand it and understand what actions you need to do in order to release that stress, whether it's staying, whether it's going, whether it's changing a behavior, whether it's understanding a behavior, etc. Um, are you making sure you are thinking correctly, making your body physically prepared, eating well, and creating a positive mindset? These are the things that the Sadhguru is talking about. Are you taking action? Are you thinking correctly? Are you manifesting the wrong things? Are you creating a pattern that is just going to go down the deep rabbit hole of negativity, of stress, anxiety, depression? Um, and your body is your temple. You know, people say this all the time. You are what you put into your body, you are what you do to your body. A huge stress reliever is physical fitness, is being active, is getting in touch with nature, is feeding your body the proper foods and nutrients that it needs. You have to understand these things. You have to understand deficiencies. You have to understand supplements. You have to understand what it is your body needs in a time of need. If your body is stressed, you might need to increase some type of vitamin D or, you know, immune booster. Who knows? But you have to be in touch with your body. You have to understand it. And it's getting educated, doing the work, like Sadhguru said, taking action, not just letting it pass you by. And so many people just let that part of them pass them by. And thinking positively. Like we always say, and Tim Ferriss and so many other people say, you know, you become the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Well, if the people around you are negative and hypochondriacs and, you know, hypocritical or, you know, then you become that average. So, in order to change that mindset, you actually have to surround yourself with people who are going to encourage that part of you as well. Because sometimes we do need mentorship. We do need someone to spark that flame with inside of us. And it does take someone sometimes to be that for us. So, if you're listening to this and you understand that you're in a stressful state, you have to reach out, you have to seek, you have to understand, and you have to do the work. Lastly, I want to focus on this a little bit longer. And this is my last point before I sign off. Like I said before, we worry about the things that haven't even happened yet. You have to evaluate the parts of your life that are in your control and the parts that are not in your control. The only thing that will ever be in your control is you, your behavior, your actions, your mindset, your doing, your being. You can't control your spouse. You can't control your children. You can be there. You can guide. You can be that light for them, but eventually they're going to do and be what they need to do for themselves. But you have to understand what you need to be for yourself. And if that's honest, if that's, you know, intuitive, if that is someone who is gaining to be better, if that's someone who is faithful, that someone who is honest, then you continue to be that because it will only resonate internally and externally. And your soul will feel fed in an innate way. And so many people are lacking that ability to level up on a conscious level and get real with themselves. So if you have any questions about, you know, certain stressors in your life, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask questions on these broadcasts because I would love to pinpoint specific things for you that most likely other people are dealing with as well. You are never alone in a situation. I guarantee that. What you are going through, other people are also going through. You know, I didn't get to this place by not going through things, but I am sharing my experiences. I am sharing these strategies and tools that have been taught to me that I am now bringing to you. And hopefully, there's a little bit that resonates with you so that you can be a little bit more at peace in your life and enjoy it a little bit further, be happier, be more content, enjoy life and your relationships around you. On that note, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for further enjoyment of any of the broadcasts that I do and meditations that I post. And I would love to hear from you and any suggestions of the meditations that you would like to see forthcoming. So enjoy your night, and we will see you next time.